Pittsburgh Steelers barely missed the playoffs, but they had a heck of a season despite losing Ben Roethlisberger in week 2, maybe week 1, maybe before the season. Who knows? His elbow could have been screwed up. He wasn't ever right. And the Steelers will look to bounce back after a crazy, tumultuous year. Le'Veon Bell left. Antonio Brown left. I do think, Breech, that when you look at this team and offensively and what they need to do, John Breech, by the way, Will Brinson, Ryan Wilson coming shortly, quarterback is sort of an issue here. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is not getting any younger. He just had Tommy John surgery, basically, and he's supposed to come back and just play football again like it's no big deal. Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, not the answer at quarterback. So to me, this is a team that has to figure out the long-term future at the position. It hasn't been an issue in forever. I think tight end could be a problem for them. Vance McDonald, he's a free agent. Nick Vannett is a free agent. They have a team option on McDonald, so it's possible they end up bringing him back. But that position was something they really could have juiced up in terms of helping them last year. Wide receiver, they look pretty set at, in my opinion, Breech. But maybe you have a different thought. I think tight end and quarterback is where they need to focus their energy this offseason.
Yeah, for the Steelers, this whole quarterback thing is a giant mystery. Because, look, Ben Roethlisberger is going to be 38 years old in March. Like you said, he's coming off that elbow surgery. There is no guarantee that he's going to come back and be able to sling the ball, throw the ball around like the old Big Ben used to. I mean, what happens if you get to July, August training camp, all of a sudden Roethlisberger's arm can't take it anymore, and now you're stuck with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph again? Well, you're topping out at 8-8. I mean, the Steelers absolutely played as good a season they could have. I don't think that would happen next year if they're stuck with those guys for the whole year. So I think you do need to go out and add a good veteran backup quarterback if you're the Steelers this offseason. Now, the problem with that is that it's going to cost money. Steelers don't have a lot of money to spare. And then also, if Roethlisberger ends up being 100% healthy in July and August, then you just wasted a lot of money on a backup quarterback. So that is going to be a dicey situation for Pittsburgh. And as you said, I think you obviously need to add a tight end. And I saw Antonio Brown on the graphic there, Brinson. What, you got a little something you're going to tell us here? A little secret you're sitting on?
I think I said that as a joke when I was filling out the things, like what they need. Antonio Brown. They need more Antonio Brown. Did we actually put it on the graphic? Throw it up there if we got Antonio Brown. Of course they don't need Antonio Brown. That's the last thing they need. I was kidding about that. No one wants Antonio Brown in their lives. The NFL doesn't need Antonio Brown in their lives. No one else doesn't need Antonio Brown in their lives. Antonio Brown. Get out of your own head. Keep your emotions off the internet, bro. Offensively, the Steelers also have some things that they need to worry about as well, don't they, Breech?
They absolutely do. And look, I think the Steelers' issue, and this seems to be every offseason, and I would say this happens to the Saints a lot, in the NFC, is they're always so tight up against the salary cap that it's hard to see them doing anything big in free agency. And it's even difficult to see them re-signing their own players, which is going to be an issue because there are two guys they absolutely need to think about re-signing. That is nose tackle Javon Hargrave and Bud Dupree. So look, those are their two big free agents. And what you have to do is crunch the numbers, say, hey, are these two guys worth what we're going to have to pay them? Are we going to let them both walk in free agency? I think they need to look to re-sign at least one of them. The Steelers' defense was so good in 2019 that you want to keep all those parts together if you can. I absolutely do not think they should let both those guys walk. Do their best to keep one, and if they keep two, that's even better. But obviously, if either Dupree or Hargrave end up walking, that means they will have to turn to the draft to fill one of those two spots.
Yeah, and they won't be doing it with a first-round pick because they gave that up for Minkah Fitzpatrick. So let's toss it to our sad sack Steelers buddy, Ryan Wilson, to have him tell us what the Steelers won't be doing in the first round.
As usual, Brinson's wrong. The Steelers do have a first-round pick, and his name is Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's one of the best players in the NFL this year. And if he'd been coming out in the 2020 draft, he would be a top 5 selection. So I would tell Brinson and anyone else who's concerned about it, the Steelers ended up trading the 18th overall pick in 2020 to Miami for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Everyone on planet Earth is making that deal, even Brinson when he gets out of his feelings. So I will take that and ignore it. He is right in theory, or in practice, I should say. The Steelers do not have a first-round pick on paper. They do have a second-round pick, and they got to do a lot with a little because they do have some needs. Bud Dupree, their defensive end, is in the final year of his deal. There's some conversation about trying to keep him. We'll see if they have the money to do it, but they do need help on the edge. I mentioned Zabari Zuniga out of Florida. Had a really good season this year. He is probably a day 2 pick right now. He can improve his draft stock, but a solid edge rusher. He doesn't have the athleticism of a Bud Dupree, but he is steady as she goes, and that's important when you're looking to set the edge opposite T.J. Watt. They also have needs at wide receiver. We saw them sort of struggle once Juju Smith-Schuster was asked to be the number one guy, and they lost their quarterback. So Brandon Ayuk, Pete Prisco's got of Arizona State. He's actually going to be better than N'Keal Harry. I feel like he may not go in the first round, but he could. We'll see what happens in the pre-draft process. Extremely athletic, 4-down player, can return kicks, and his yards after the catch will blow your mind if you've seen any Arizona State games. One of my favorite players in this draft class, Justin Madubuike out of Texas A&M. He is a monster inside. You don't hear a lot about him playing at Texas A&M. The Steelers may need some depth there. Javon Hargrave is in the final year of his deal as well. And finally, they need a tight end. There's no two ways about it. Hunter Bryant is an athletic tight end, reminds me of Evan Ingram in terms of what he does. If Ben Roethlisberger comes back healthy and you give him a middle-of-the-field target, that will not only help Ben Roethlisberger, it'll help Juju Smith-Schuster and the rest of that young wide receiver core. So that's what the Steelers need to do. And just so you don't forget, Brinson, they got their first-round pick, Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.